So, good morning, everybody, and good morning, Carla, and let's see, Maureen, Toronto. So, I have done 2 driving tours of Canada because I love Canada. So, I'm here in Maryland, just north of DC, and packed up the car. We had 3 hotels booked in Canada. And other than that, we had no idea what we were doing. So we did the Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. We spent 2 weeks driving up all around the lakes. It was amazing. And then we did it again a couple years later where we went up to Quebec and all through up there. Just spent 2 weeks. Only had a couple places booked. Otherwise, we just stayed wherever we were at the time. And it was amazing. So, love Canada. So here we are with a chance to let our shoulders droop, taking that breath, listening to the cards like they're the sound of waves. So yesterday, all the cards came up reversed, and somebody asked about that. And based on whichever deck I'm using, some of my decks have the cards, 50% of them, reversed. And I don't do that with the Marseille because I feel like the Marseille gives me more leniency, more expression. But with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck with its pictures, it locks you more into its definition since the pictures are so specific on them. So it's good for me to be able to reverse those pictures to give it an additional meaning. There's that breath again. There's that drooping the shoulders. And we're going to see what the universe has for us. And good morning also, SL. We also have people on Twitch. Twitch gathers a lot of people. But for the most part, I hang out on YouTube, where I also put a synopsis of the reading and links on how you can join the social media groups that we belong to, things like that. So let's see what the universe has for us today. What tips or tricks or things to show us, any angers or resentments. It shows me when I'm being selfish, self-seeking, and self-centered. That's how I kind of look at it. It reminds me to take a look at myself and ways that I might behave in certain situations. I think the tarot helps us to see lessons before they actually happen in the outside world, and helps us to see answers through them without the anger and resentments. Okay, so what do we have? So here's our stack. We divide it into 3, each one a separate thread going out to the universe. Each one of these is a different conversation, and possibly that butterfly effect if you believe that, because if I select this one, it's going to be a different conversation than this one or this one. That will give us a thought for the day that we will carry through. So today is Tuesday. Let's see what's right at the heart of everything. I'm going to do my 3 and 1. And let's see what we have today. Starting right off with reversals again. Let's see. So we have the Eight of Swords, which is usually us being all bound up. And as you can see, she's actually loosely bound. So if she really wanted to, she could just kind of like let those ties drop away if she wants. It's almost like she's holding them from the back, but she's got herself bound up. She could walk free. It's not a gate. It's not like she's being surrounded. It's when we get that mental block that we just feel like we can't walk through. With this reversed, we come up with the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is all about seeing things clearly. And the Ace of Cups is starting something new. So, and then for the advice card, we have the Seven of Wands. So we have all these swords in here. So this shows where we can get ourselves all wound up. We tie ourselves up into knots. We, standing in that fetid water, it's like after we sit there and just sit in our own pity party almost, our own resentments, all these things that we do to ourselves. I just imagine that water getting fetid and everything else until we're just finally sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then maybe we start to think clearly, because when we're in the middle of our emotions, when we're in the middle of an argument, when we're in the middle of the boss is after us, we just feel all that pressure. It almost blinds us. It makes it so we can't see past our own nose. And when we are done with that, when we just have had enough, then we might have that revelation. So here we have the King of Swords. Kings are about thought, organizing. They take control of a situation. Swords are about thought. So each one of these are different elements. Swords are air. Swords are thought. This is somebody who sees absolutely clearly. So here we're all bound up in our own mental processes, and it just gets us to the point where we can't feel, can't think. It's just kind of being trapped. And it could be a momentary situation. Something happens real quick. We get pulled over by a cop or something like that. It's just all of a sudden we freeze up, and it's whatever it is. But once we are through that moment and we can finally see things clearly, then we can take that breath. So this is the breath. Cups are spirituality. Cups are emotions. Aces are about starting over. So first we need to just allow ourselves to run that course, because we're not just going to sit there and automatically say, you know what, I'm going to release these bonds. A lot of times it can take it's a process. Other times it could just be an event. All of a sudden it's like we realize it. That's the truth. And then we can breathe that sigh of relief that comes with the cups. So here we have the advice card, which is the Seven of Wands. And you can see here, sevens are about moving forward, potentials. This person is standing up on this rock. They're not sturdy. Look at this. They've got two different shoes on. So they were in a rush when they woke up this morning because they got two different socks on. They're sitting there feeling like this is what they have to do. And there's all these sticks lined up against them. And since we don't see people, are those imaginary? Are these the imaginary challenges we have that tie us up? if we're not seeing things clearly, if we're not taking a step back, then that's what it is. So with the advice card being reversed, it's saying we're not on good footing. We're not seeing things clearly. We are reacting. We are closing ourselves off. If we just put the stick down, sit down, look at things clearly the same way this King of Swords is. If we want to feel better, then that is what we need to do. And good morning, twin. And yes, God, yes. So I know, isn't that cool? But yeah, so they were just saying that they had never noticed the shoes before. Perhaps he must decide which is the best foot to put forward. Absolutely, because with this, there's 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. And you know what I had somebody that used to say to me, and I'll see if I can figure out a way to put this politely, but I had somebody who said that if you have 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, then you're taking a dump all over today. And that's what happens when we get all bound up and all tied up in ourselves. We're sitting there fighting, these battles in our head. And wands are about heat and energy. And so we're putting all that energy into this, when if we would just stop long enough to see things clearly. And if we do that, we get to take a breath. And that's what the Ace of Cups is. So this is saying that we are creating the battle. We are creating the fight. It's time to put down the sword. It's time to put down the wand. Stop fighting. And just do what it takes to look at things clearly. This could be, creating a list. It could be talking to somebody, because the swords could be people. It could be us. It could be somebody else. It could be situations, as I always say. But the basic gist is that maybe this is a person, or maybe this is us having the revelation. But the whole point is putting down the wands, putting down all that need to fight and struggle. Find a breath of fresh air to see things clearly. And then we're going to start having that sense of relief that comes with the cups. And keep in mind also, as I often say, is that when I do see court cards, this might be us. This might be somebody that we know, somebody that is struggling, somebody maybe that we're arguing with. But if this king is us, then it's our job to help that person see things more clearly, and maybe this is us offering that cup. But regardless of anything, it's about surrendering to the battle, seeing things clearly. Surrender, see things clearly, if we want to be able to take that breath. Yes, and as SL says, your mind can be your worst enemy. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And twin, I'm not sure what you mean by, message for me, please. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, and I what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sit there and just use this king, and I'm going to use this to maybe take a step aside today, because there is a lot of stuff going on today or this week. So I am going to take this aside. And I'm going to take each one of these wands and I'm going to write out a list and see what each one of these wands mean. As a matter of fact, I can actually draw each one of these wands and put a label beside. This is the project, this is this, all these things that I'm battling. Then turn that upside down and see what I need to do to see it clearly. Just like a mirror would. So with that, thank you very much. And I will be doing this again tomorrow at 7:15. If you're on Twitch, go to YouTube and just type in MyTarot.org and you will see my channel pop up. You can join that channel there. I've got over 200 videos. I just did another video last night dealing with the history of the occult tarot. Ooh. So you can go there and you can see some of the videos I have and all the daily meditations and things like that. So, and Carla, thank you too. And thank you everybody else who joined us today. And I will see you again really, really soon. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. And thank you all for showing up because it gives me a responsibility to show up and actually do my daily meditations with the tarot. Something, until I started doing this, I'd never done before. So again, thank you all so, so much. And have an amazing day, everybody.